Hello and welcome. I'm here with Jack Turner. We want to talk about a movie which is coming out in Germany, which has been, when was it released? Was it 2019?
It was 2019, yeah. They turned it around very quickly. I think it came out even that summer, yeah.
So the movie is called Forever in My Heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
it's going to be out in Germany on the 3rd of September. Yeah, maybe let's start with the plot. What is the movie about?
Yeah, so the plot is about, well, it's set in Ireland, firstly, and it's about two friends who have romantic feelings for each other that at the beginning of the film are together, but she's American, he's Irish, and she has to go back home for work, and my character, the Irishman, is a musician, and he wants to go and tour, I think through Europe, I think it was, playing music with his partner, his musical partner. And so they, both decide to let each other go their separate ways. And then we kind of come back to the movie, we come back to their lives in the movie, I think about 10 years later, when she happens to be back in Ireland, not expecting him to be, and he's back working at the inn that she used to work at. It's his family's inn, and he's back there helping his dad, who's been a bit sick, and she comes back and is surprised to find him there, and then complications.
Who would you say is this movie for? Like, who would love this kind of movie?
The great thing about these films that Hallmark makes is that the whole family can kind of watch them together, there's no content that's too kind of divisive, and so I would say that anyone that likes a bit of a romantic story would enjoy this, but also because it was shot in Ireland, the film, it really looks gorgeous. They made the most of some beautiful scenery, the settings. We shot in these just gorgeous exterior settings. The Guinness Estates, I remember, was just it was crazy. So I think it's a really nice film, and it's nice to look at, and it has some fun characters in, and it gives a nice sense of Ireland, which I personally, when I was in Ireland, I loved being there, and that was something that I think the film captured really well, was just this sense of the Irish people, and they're great.
Yeah, mate, I'm already I envy you.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome. So because you're not from Ireland, right? You're from
No,
America.
I'm from England, but I live in LA, and so I'm from the southwest of England, where some of the countryside is more similar to Ireland, and I've lived in the States for 13 years, so for me to be back in Ireland, back in a place that felt like home but was also new, it was just a great experience. I absolutely loved shooting that film.
I just catch myself, I could have known that by your accent. It's it's not an American.
Yeah.
But you work in LA a lot, and because you're living there, right?
Well, yes. So I mean, a lot of the casting comes through LA, but ironically, I almost never work here. Typically it's in Canada, and then I've done a couple of films in Europe too. So that's just the way that the business is.
First of all, from actor to actor, congratulations. That sounds pretty awesome, right?
Oh,
Getting to travel all over the world to make feature piece. That's quite the big deal. Yeah,
I've been really lucky, really lucky. The experiences have been fabulous, and this film for Forever in My Heart, being in Ireland, was one of the best. And also things like my sister flew into Dublin from London. I got to see her and my nephew, who was I think about a year old at the time, and then after that I got to fly to England to see my parents for a couple of days. It was just such a nice little addition. I got to shoot a film, and then I got to see my family. It was great. I've been really lucky.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, mate. So was this your first time working with the director Stephen Monroe?
Yeah, it was, yes. I spoke to him a bit on the phone before, and he's such a fun guy. He also loves film. He's like a real film nerd, and he really enjoys the process of making films. If I remember correctly, he comes from a crew background, and yeah, he has like deep film history knowledge, and he loved sharing that on set. Like I remember we were playing chess. Emmett and I, who was my guitar partner in the film, we were playing a game of chess, because we were shooting at this manor a lot, this like gorgeous manor. Although it was brutally hot, because it was a really nice summer in Ireland, and they're not used to having nice summers, right? So it was savagely hot, and we were all kind of sheltering inside, and Emmett and I were playing a game of chess in the shade, and Stephen Monroe comes over, and he starts talking about Kubrick. I think Stanley Kubrick and the Clockwork Orange, because they just played chess all the time or something rather than do rehearsals. And he was trying to figure out which of us was going to be a director and all this stuff. And Emmett and I were just completely lost in the conversation. We were just trying to play a game of chess. He loves film, Stephen Monroe, and he definitely had a good time shooting it.
Like, I feel it's always like the working with the crew, who is like, or like also with like an inner circle of people who are just like really on it. It's like one of the most gratifying experiences doing something like this.
Me too. I'm with you 100%. One of my favorite things always is meeting the crew, and getting to learn from them and just be around them, because it's such a collaborative effort, you know. And I think the casual observer doesn't realize how important, in a way, the crew is. They do everything to make everything look and sound right, you know. And a lot of the time the actors aren't there for that process, because maybe we're changing to get into clothes for the next scene or something like that, and then we come back when the scene is, or the shot is ready, and we do our work. But really the vast majority of how the film looks and feels and sounds is because of the efforts of the crew. And I love picking their brains if I can, if I'm not like getting in the way too much, and like slowing them down about, you know, kind of what they do and what they like doing. And then if I don't get to chat to them too much through shooting, I always enjoy meeting them afterwards. Like normally we'll have some drinks and stuff, and we did that definitely in Ireland.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then for once it ends up in a black box for a while, where you don't get to see it until it turns out somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
Much good has happened to it, right?
The funny thing about that with the Hallmark films is that they edit as we shoot. So they put together an assembly edit as we shoot, and then the finishing process is only about 3 to 5 weeks. So after we finish principal photography, we wrap shooting. There's never any reshoots. They do the, you know, sound edit, color, and they call us back in to do some ADR, which is re-recording lines that need to be recorded in the studio. And the whole process is 3 weeks. So they're amazingly efficient.
Like, that's rapid.
Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely rapid, like crazy. Like never heard about something like that before.
Right?
4 weeks turnaround for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Some films can be a 2-year turnaround. And obviously, like there might be visual effects or something like that, but nonetheless, I think that it's pretty impressive.
I agree.
Yeah.
Quickly, if I may, like the work with Stephen Monroe, like how was he working with you and the other people from the cast? What was like the collaboration like? Were there rehearsals, or like how was the process?
You know, on this one there was no rehearsals, particularly not before shooting. So and that's often the case with films that shoot in 3 weeks, because there's just no time. So you know, me and the other actors, we'd make sure that we were off book and stuff beforehand. But then the process of shooting was that I think he would only really kind of have notes if he wanted something to change. So we would do our performance, and then he might be like, oh, maybe try this through that section, or try that. But again, because it's a 3-week shoot, let's say in a typical scene you have a wide establishing shot, a medium, and a close-up. We always shoot with 2 cameras generally, so there's 2 sizes. But you might get 2 takes of each, maybe 3 takes of the establishing and the medium and the close, and then because they're capturing it with 2 cameras, they get the coverage that way. So there's not that much time to kind of tinker with it, and I think that is beneficial actually from an actor, because the director just tells you if they want something a bit different, and if they don't, then you find something and stick with it.
Yeah. So I imagine if the pace is so fast that you kind of have to riff off each other and just like get it moving, like there's no time to dig around. And
exactly. Yeah. Completely that. And it's not just that way for the actors, it's that way for the crew, it's that way for Stephen. Like I said, they're composing a assembly edit as they go. So when we're on lunch breaks, he's on the phone with people in LA trying to figure out yesterday's assembly. So there's a lack of time, but there's some like fluidity that comes from that, because you have to trust everyone's process, and I think that's a lot of the work is done up front. They do their location scouts, they know what the shots are going to be, and then for us, we're not, as actors, we're not involved in that process, but we have to be ready, and then we come in and shoot. So more my personal process of rehearsal was, because this was shot in Ireland, I worked with a dialect coach for a bit beforehand, but I only got brought on to the job 10 days before, so it's not a very long time to work on an accent. And at the time too, the film was set in very rural Ireland, which is a different accent than where the film ended up being set, which was closer to Dublin. So a lot of the work I did preparing the very rural accent wasn't necessarily helpful for the Dublin accent, but we got through it. And there was also a dialect coach on set. His name's Chris Newman, and he's a great actor. And he also helped me through some of the last minute things that needed to be done.
So if I recall correctly, you were brought in to the production 10 days before principal shooting?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you use those 10 days? Like, what came first? What came second? Like what got the priority?
I was on the phone with this particular dialect coach, Gerald. Can't remember his surname now. He's a big time acting coach. Anyway, I was on the phone to him for a couple of mornings in a row, again working on this more rural accent. So I'd work with him in the morning, and then I'd work on kind of my lines in the afternoon. I have to learn these words and I have to learn how to say them, and there were kind of different jobs, if you like. So that was how I kind of broke up my days. I did that for a week, packed, flew, landed, drank Guinness, started shooting. That was it.
The Guinness part, it's important.
Yeah, it's for the character. It wasn't for me.
Good stuff. How did you like the character? Like, was there what kind of part of him resonated? What intrigued you?
I liked him very much. I think the part was very well written, and in terms of capturing the Irish sense, not in a kind of over the top way like a parody, but Irish people are really fun, and there's a bit of a kind of devil may care attitude about them, but they operate very much like from the heart rather than the head. They're very like feeling people, and I think that was captured really well in the writing of him. So I just tried to do my best to bring that to the character. Yeah, I really enjoyed that element of the story.
When the post-production was finished, did you see the movie, or were you like, I know a lot of actors who were like tiptoeing around actually watching the thing that they did?
Yeah, it's awful. It's watching yourself is brutal. No, I did watch the film. So one thing that happens here when they release the films is that fans quite like it if you live tweet with them. So they follow the film and they'll tweet their observations, some of which might be hurtful, and you know, like tweet along with them or whatever. And so I did watch it. I had like a screening link, and my kind of superstitious routine, if you like, is I have over a few friends, 4 or 6 people or whatever, and we'll order some food and watch the film, and they'll support me while I have to live tweet, because I'm not particularly fond of Twitter and it's tough to watch yourself on a screen. So they are my support and we have a good time. But we all actually really enjoyed the film, and I was really happy with how it turned out, and I was happy with the accent and the acting, and you know, everyone else in the film did great. But I was relatively pleased with myself. So that was one movie where it wasn't too awful.
It wasn't too awful. Is that like common experience, or? Oof.
Well, I mean, you must have had it though, right?
I know what you mean. It's like
just tough to watch. It's just tough to watch yourself.
Like for every scene where you're like, yeah, I think it was all right. There is a scene where you think, oh my God, can somebody give me a gun or something?
Right, send me back to school.
Yeah, exactly. So I heard maybe like here in Germany, Love in Winterland may also come out on Disney Plus. I heard rumors. I don't know.
Really cool.
Which is another one of your films, right?
Yeah, it is. Yes, yeah, I did that with Italia and Chad.
Yeah. And the 10-year plan, another one of your movies, is already out in Germany, right?
Yeah, that's actually done really well in Germany. That film is 7 or 8 years old now, I think, and that was released, you know, relatively soon after we finished, but it was on Netflix, and so a lot of people around the world have seen it and have enjoyed it. So yeah, that's a film I'm really proud to have been a part of, because it's reached a lot of people.
Man, that sounds really cool. So are there any evil plans we might know about, like anything in filming or pre-production, or
no filming stuff. I did just do an audio book, which I really enjoyed the experience of working on that. I was one of 6 narrators on this book. And it was by a woman that directed something I was in years and years ago, who asked me if I wanted to read it, and I really liked the book. It's kind of a bit of a murder thriller. It's very well written, and it was my first time reading an audiobook, so I love doing that. I'm not sure when that's going to be available, but other than that, my only evil plan is my wife is Swedish and we're moving to Sweden, which is why the bags are here, because we move in about 16 days. I'm just looking at the date here. So the evil plan will be, you know, to hopefully start getting a bit more work over in Europe. I have an English agent, and hopefully being closer will get me into more English and European productions. So keep your fingers crossed, because I tend to really enjoy the work that comes out of Europe, and to be a part of some of that would be amazing. So that's the evil plan. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a dismal fail, but
we'll see about that.
Yeah, all right, that sounds good. Yeah.
I do wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Right. That's all. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll talk.
Sounds good. Thanks very much.
I can't let her go again. I think someone needs a dance partner.